Stapleton and welcome to Wrokdown, coming to you live from Musicland. Well, the 60s were incredibly exciting for Australian bands because it was the first chance that original music sort of broke through in the recording industry in Australia. However, it wasn't so easy for the women in rock in Australia. You had to stick together as girls, and my next artists, my next best friends, special guests, have been stuck together for 40 years. They're sisters, and would you please welcome the fabulous Cookies? They're Cookies! Now, girls, it was the mid to late 60s. You had migrated out as young kids from England, and I know that we have photos that we'll be showing during the show, but you were kids. What ages were you when you came out to Australia?
15,
No, I was 8.
Oh, the very first time.
I was 8.
Well, how many times did you come out?
Yeah. And I was 7.
7, 8 and 10.
Yeah.
We were out here, and after 3.5 years, all the family went back to England again. So
is that?
I
didn't realise that.
We
so,
went back.
so tell me about that. What happened? They didn't like it.
A lot of English people do that. They come out, and Mum's mother had died, and they realise that they miss everybody, and they go back. They nearly all English people go back.
But when they go back, it's not.
2
exactly
minutes later, they realise they've made a mistake.
So we were back in England, and we were back in Australia within 2 years. So we weren't even in England 2 years. And Mum and Dad brought us all back again. So that was that was 1965.
Poms twice, sort of.
Yeah, so it was £20 poms.
£20 poms. Really.
So did you go back to the same place?
Same
to
area,
Brisbane?
Portsmouth, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so by then, the time you went back the second time, you were respectively...
It was 1960, the end of 1964, 65, and like 15, 16...
We won't talk about that because we're ladies.
Yeah, we're ladies. Yeah.
We're ladies.
So we were just early
young,
teenagers.
early
The girls were still at school and I was at work.
Yeah. Okay, so you were already singing, I presume.
Around the house. We'd sung around the house, and we sang at a couple of elderly citizens' places that Mum said, "Oh yeah, my 3 girls can sing a song."
So did it come from one of your parents?
And we also entered some talent quests and things like that.
Dad's family used to sing in pubs.
So that's where it came from?
You don't get Mum to sing. Mum, you don't get Mum to sing. She's the worst singer you've ever heard. Yeah.
So it came from your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Brisbane for the second time.
Yep.
Working little clubs, little venues, and
dances,
then something happened and you got your chance to
tell
us, Margie.
Because I was
hang on,
the whole
I haven't done the correct thing. I'm sorry. I'm really rude. This is Wendy.
Hello. You make
Margie.
And I'm Beverley.
And Beverley Cook, and they are sisters. They are the Cookies.
Hey.
So I was 16 and doing the regular dances, just going to the dances as kids do. And I was in the audience and I saw this girl get up and sing and I thought, gee, my sisters and I could be doing that. So at the end of the night, I went up to the manager and asked them if we could audition. I said, can I sing with my sisters? I sing with my sisters, can we audition? So I came home and I said to the girls the next morning, next week we're auditioning at TC's in Brisbane. And the next week we went there and appeared, and we appeared for a few weeks at the TC's. And then there was a place called The Scene opening up, which was like a disco, and they were running a talent quest. So on the Wednesday night, I said to the girls again, we're entering that, and we won. And from that, we got a television show and working vocal backing artists and things like that. So it just all snowballed.
So a TV show in Brisbane?
Just
I mean, these are things that you dream of, don't you?
But called the In Show. We weren't seeking it, but because we were 3 girls, they just needed 3 girls to do vocal backing on a new TV show.
And strangely enough, a year before you arrived in Brisbane, who was there?
The Bee Gees arrived, and
Three
they lived
brothers.
in Redcliffe.
Or
and
4
we
brothers.
watched them on TV. We used to watch them on TV because we were sort of a little bit interested in singing. So there was a great interest.
So they were already doing...
They were just appearing on TV the same as
And they wrote their own songs too.
Yeah, so they were very talented, very, very young age.
What was the scene in Brisbane?
It was great.
Well, it was the early 60s was fabulous. A very big music scene, lots of dancers and
No alcohol. It was just like
yeah.
dances down here.
clubs. Brisbane, a lot of famous artists came out of Brisbane.
I know.
A lot of talent.
The benchmark was set. Whatever was the best, it was what they were hearing. So they didn't hear any trashy stuff. We only heard the best stuff. And we figured in Brisbane, that's how good you had to be.
Yes.
Because that was the level you worked from. That was the benchmark.
And you had to come to Melbourne or Sydney to do that.
To break
it.
because all of the TV shows, well, actually in the
national
60s,
ones were down here.
mainly they were. I'm looking at Gary Spry sitting in the audience.
Gary knows.
One of our biggest
Yeah.
promoters and nightclub owners.
And he was our manager.
Of course, realistically, in the 60s, Sydney ran
Oh, yes. Yeah,
ran
the
ran
clubs.
ran,
yeah.
the, ran the TV shows as well, and then
Bandstand.
later it started to happen in Melbourne
the
on TV.
nightclubs, yeah.
So how were you discovered, and how did you find yourself working in Melbourne or
Okay, after we started on the TV, it's my turn this time.
Yeah.
After we were doing the TV show, which was called The In Show, and which was funny because the theme song was I'm In With The In Crowd, which was Dobie Gray, who we went on to work with.
We ended up doing his vocal backing
Yeah.
covers.
I'm in with the in
crowd, and I go where the in crowd goes. I'm in with the in crowd, and I know what the in crowd knows.
Yeah, good.
Oh, and Drift Away.
Yeah, so that was So that was the In Show, and then another channel that was Channel 7.
Channel 7.
Oh God, it's hard to remember because we were still at school at this stage.
You were
And
babies.
Then we went on to a show called Countdown, which was a Brisbane show.
The Brisbane
Oh,
Countdown.
really?
Yeah,
Brisbane
I
Countdown.
didn't realise there was a
Yeah,
Brisbane
yeah.
Countdown.
We were
we
early.
didn't. They did an album, and we're on it singing "Colour My World."
So
A deep and meaningful song, that one. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so on that show, we used to back everyone who came up from Melbourne or Sydney every week, and
I've got to tell you that's the funniest thing, because when you think back on it, we had 5 minutes to learn a song. Now, there were no charts, no vocal charts, no anything. They just said, here's the record, you've got 5 minutes, come back and we're going to record it.
yeah.
And you did it in 5 minutes.
Well, it was good they had no
After
charts.
school.
Sisters,
school.
because we're sisters, we automatically go to a certain place when we're singing vocally, even it's just natural. Just, I go high, she goes low, medium. So we had 5 minutes to learn a song. We thought that was normal.
Yeah,
If you ask somebody now, you've got 5 minutes to learn a song, and you did a whole series of songs. You did every artist that
night.
was on, plus a solo spot as a group, every week. Every
Yeah, we
week.
were
So
Well, it
now-
would have been terrible if they'd put charts in front of you, because
Oh,
it
we
just
wouldn't
looks
have been
like
able to read
flashes
them
on a
anyway,
piece of
so-
paper,
That's
doesn't
Fly
it?
shit on piece of
But
weekend.
anyway, so it
Wrap
was
your fish and
Normie
chips
Rowe
in
and
it.
Tony Worsley and Ronnie Burns and the Purple Hearts, and everybody was on
So
it.
even before you left Brisbane, actually the pop artists from all over Australia knew you because you were backing them in Brisbane.
yeah. And one of them in particular came up and she said she was doing Aretha Franklin's
Oh, yeah.
Respect. So we went out the back to learn Respect,
Our
which
5
was
minutes.
another funny story because we sang, instead of sock it to me, sock it to me,
didn't know it was sock
we
it to
sang
me.
it, suck it
Suck
to
it
me,
to me,
suck
suck
it
it
to
to
me.
me, suck it to me.
we're trying to listen to what they were saying. We're going,
How
suck it to me, suck it to me.
No wonder you got a gig
Anyway,
in Melbourne.
And Marcie, absolutely, it was Marcie Jones.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
we did the songs with her, and she said, "Look, girls, it's November." She said, "I've got a few gigs down the coast at Christmas. Do you want to just do a couple of?" She said, "Because I love Tina Turner, and I can Tina Turner."
Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle, and we said, "Oh, okay." We'd never done anything like that before, and that was like 46 years ago. We never
And so
stopped.
basically then
still-
you became what I guess most Australians
Down
know
here.
as Marcie Jones and the Cookies.
That's how we did it. And we moved to Sydney, and I had my 16th birthday in Sydney.
Yes,
and we
well,
did all the night
you were
clubs.
supposed to be older,
We
but
did,
we
but
weren't.
I
we
just
were-
pretended I was old, and because I'm quite tall, nobody ever questioned me, but I was like 15, 16, and here we are in a nightclub, and there are people stabbing each other.
Yeah.
And, it really was the days of the Crims.
That was good, wasn't it?
And we worked at the
That's
Latin
everything.
Quarter. Gary might remember this.
Oh, we had so much fun.
We worked at the Latin Quarter for ages, and at Lay Girls and things. And one time, the guy who's the really big guy that owned
Sammy Lee?
Sammy Lee, we locked ourselves in the hotel because he hadn't paid us. And we refused to go on. And he had to get in his car and come and get us and apologise for not paying us. And this is Sammy Lee.
Yeah, that's right.
Excuse me.
Don't mess
Very
with us,
brave
baby.
girls. We're going to take a short break. Be back very soon with the cookies. Welcome back to Wrokdown. My special guests tonight are the fabulous Cookies.
Thank you.
Who have done so much, and we're hearing about it tonight. Girls, by this stage in your careers, you have moved down to Sydney from Brisbane with Marcie Jones.
Yep.
Working all the nightclubs.
Yep.
And as you said, like the Cross and all of those places was something to behold.
And then
Gary.
we appeared back up in Brisbane at a venue, and Gary Spry happened to be in town. And from then on...
And he loved us,
And
didn't
he
you?
loved us. Yeah, he said the hairs went on the back of his head. I don't think they do that now. Would they? But anyway, so Gary had managed, as everybody knows, a lot of bands, a lot of successful artists and groups, and so he fell in love with Marcie and the Cookies, and brought us to Melbourne, and from then on we did lots of venues. And we, in 1968, we supported with Marcie the Monkeys when they toured Australia. So that was the start, yes.
I've left it somewhere, but the list of people that you worked with, the Monkeys, Cliff Richard. Well, we'll get on to Cliff later because you actually ended up touring with him extensively. But Del Shannon,
Dobie Gray, Ray
Roy
Stevens,
Charles Aznavour, Roy Orbison.
You were a baby, weren't you?
I was a baby. I was 16. Yeah,
And we never drove. Marcie drove everywhere. We had
drove
a driver.
people nuts,
We had a driver. And so we arrived in Melbourne, and they said, we're doing this tonight and somewhere Friday night. And
We just
so
got
it
in the
wasn't
car and got
until
driven.
we were older that we realised what Melbourne looked like. Because
We were talking today about, we remember doing a show in Brisbane where we did Brisbane, Ipswich, Toowoomba and the Gold Coast all on the same night.
No. No.
We got to Bicky's. Do you remember, Gary? We got to Bicky's at 2
What,
o'clock
did he
in the
pay you
morning.
with Bicky?
No, he booked us. No, Bicky's was a nightclub in Surfers
Oh, he
Paradise.
paid you with Bicky's. That's disgusting, Gav.
We got we did.
Bicky's,
One
the
night when we
cookies
did-
at Bicky's goes well, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
one night when we did one of the Monkeys tours that we did, I think we were in Adelaide, and in one day we did 2 radio shows, 2 TV shows, 2 support acts, and 2 late night
And it was
cabaret
5
shows.
states.
Yeah.
5 states in one day.
Yeah,
So
and
that
the whole
sort
tour
of
was like
experience
that.
you just don't get anymore.
We thought everybody
We thought
did
that was
that. I was
normal.
17.
I call that slave labour.
We thought that was
Okay,
normal.
let's talk about you leaving Australia and going back to England with Marcie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was it Normie as well at that
Well,
stage?
no,
or-
he-
we
he-
toured.
he-
We
he
toured.
scripted.
We flew out January the 5th, 1969, to the Far East. for
And
bookings
Normie
in the
went
Far
to
East.
Vietnam
He
the
went
same
to-
month.
and
Normie went to Vietnam, you went to
Yes.
Singapore,
And we met Normie in
Bangkok,
Manila.
on his-
Kuala Lumpur,
Manila.
Manila.
Hong Kong.
Yeah, 2 months in the Far East, and eventually
No, four and a half.
4.5 months in the Far
fortnight.
East. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never get it right. I was
End of
16.
April,
Who
we got
knows?
to England.
So you got
And,
to England,
Yes,
and Marcie was there.
yes. Well,
We
yes,
toured.
to-
All 4 of us
four of
toured
us.
Far
toured.
East. Yeah.
And then Marcie eventually came home, and you stayed
After a
on
while,
with
yeah.
Cliff Richard.
No, we worked.
okay.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah, we'll
we
do it.
did that.
No, well, it's your story. You tell
No,
me.
we did that. We worked with Cliff we worked with Cliff all the time, and us 3 did his vocal backing, and Marcie and the Cookies opened the show.
Again, slave
But we
driven.
did that for a couple of years, and then Marcie
For
came
a couple
back.
of years.
Yeah,
when
we did
he
it for
toured.
3
When he
years.
toured.
When he toured.
We were with him from 1969 to 1971.
Oh, and he's
So-
gorgeous. I've got to tell you, he's the most gorgeous guy.
Yeah,
He's
tell us
lovely.
a bit about
Oh,
Cliff.
he's beautiful.
He's
Loves
adorable.
tennis.
He's adorable.
Yeah.
We used to play tennis together all the time, and he's just the most beautiful person. And he didn't push the whole religion thing. In fact, at a few of the parties that he attended, with us and the family, you had to really draw it out of him to talk about anything like that because it was very.
Yeah,
private.
he was always the last
just
one
a
to go
good,
home.
fun guy. He's great.
He
sense
always
of humour.
came across as that
Great
really
sense
lovely
of humour.
Beautiful guy.
Such a professional. When we worked for him, we were expected to be the best. You know, if you can equate to this, we used to pay ourselves about £7 a week, which is bugger all, £7 a week in pocket money. When we did vocal backing for Cliff, he paid us each £100 a week. Right, so you can see the difference. So he expected the best, and you weren't 1 minute late.
No,
And even if we travelled up from London, we did a show at the London Palladium for a freebie for a fundraiser, and name drop, bump. And we did a show, and then the next morning we had to be on rehearsals at 10 o'clock up in the north of England.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many shows you've done.
Doesn't matter how you got there, whether you're walking, you don't turn up late. They go, started at 10, not 2 minutes past.
So professional,
very
but
professional.
also treating you professionally,
Oh,
paying
yeah.
you
The best.
professionally.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I've always had a soft spot for him,
Oh,
and
he's
I wanted to
lovely.
hear that from someone who knows him personally. I wanted to hear that he's just a
He's
fabulous
fabulous.
person.
He's
Yes.
fabulous.
Darling, yes.
Good
Okay,
fun.
girls,
He's a darling.
we're actually going to a break, but first of all, we're going to a clip
Oh,
Lovely.
from a gorgeous boy, Steve Clisby, who you all saw on,
yeah.
was it The Voice?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's magic.
This is a film clip called Walking These Streets, and you've seen Steve singing.
Yeah, he's great.
So, girls, we're going to take this segment out with Steve.
Been walking these streets so long, 'cause I need somebody else. Been treating my love so wrong, 'cause I need somebody else. The pleasure and pain you bring to me, you got me down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, no more sorrow and pain. It's all I see. Now it don't matter no thing, 'cause it's gonna be all right. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Walking these streets so long, 'cause I need somebody else. Been treating my love so wrong, 'cause I need somebody else. The pleasure and pain you gave to me, you got me down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, no more sorrow and pain is all I see. Now it don't matter no thing, 'cause it's gonna be all right. 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 Yeah. Be all right. Oh. Be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Yeah. Be all right. Oh. Be all right. Be all right. Walking these streets so long, 'cause I need somebody else. Been treating my love so wrong, 'cause I need somebody else. Working for your money every night and day, 'cause I'm a good man. I'm a good man. Once it was your loving was the only way. Spend my heart and soul for you, when I thought you would be true, yeah. Walking these streets so long, 'cause I need somebody else. Been treating my love so wrong, 'cause I need somebody else. Be all right. 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 Be all right.
Welcome back to Wrokdown. My very special guests tonight are the fabulous Cookies. We've actually been having such a great chat, and so many old stories.
Oh dear.
I know. Oh dear.
How long's the
We
show?
won't go into it because we're ladies. We're ladies. We are ladies. Anyway, girls, I don't have to introduce this next person because you know the gorgeous Mick Peeling,
We do.
who of course does Wrokdown Radio for us. And we have a segment called Mick's Picks.
Now, there seems to be a lot of good music coming out of Brisbane these days, and this band Holy Holy is a great new act from up that way. It actually consists of a Brisbane singer-songwriter by the name of Timothy Carroll, and also Oscar Dawson from Melbourne. Now, this is a wonderful thing. It's another EP, so I'm predicting that there'll be a full-length album a little later on this year. But check this out. It's called the Pacific EP. Sort of reminds me a bit of REM, and that's not such a bad thing, seeing that REM are no more. But yeah, give this one a listen. It's Holy Holy and the Pacific EP. Back to you, Wendy.
Mick, girls,
Yes,
We're in
Wendy.
London.
We were
the
in
last-
London.
Yes, we were.
so
London.
so Marcie decided to come back to Australia after what, 2 years?
Yeah, we
Yes.
worked all over
About
Europe
years.
with her, and
Yeah, we did. What did you say? It was about 50 out of 52 weeks of the year we
yeah.
toured.
We
So
were one of the
again,
first
slave-driven.
Australian acts to do
Just realised how
so
tired I
much
am.
work every
In the
year.
Can I just,
Cabaret,
can
in the
I just
cabaret.
ask you how you were received as, in actual fact, you were English born, but coming from Australia with Marcie, and Marcie was Australian born, am I correct?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
Going back over and then actually being sort of called an Australian group.
We
Yes.
were. Yeah.
And at the
very much so.
time, the only Australian groups, Australian artists, I should
The
say,
Seekers.
was the Seekers,
Frank
Ifield, and dare I say, Rolf Harris, and a cabaret group called the Peddlers. Now, the Peddlers and Marcie and the Cookies were the most successful cabaret draw cards in England and
They loved
in
us
Great
being
Britain at
Australian.
the time,
They
they loved it. But we had the great pleasure of appearing at the Portsmouth Town Hall, City Hall, with Cliff Richard, and that's where we come from. So to appear
Were you
with
from
Cliff,
Portsmouth?
yes. So to appear
Ooh.
at the
Guildhall.
Guildhall
Sailor.
Portsmouth with Cliff Richard, and we did our show at Marcie
And
and
all our
Cookie's
family
first,
were there.
and all our family. So they'd heard all about us.
Just to take the shine off it, though, we had an
Okay.
auntie who weighed about 24 stone, and or great aunt, and she was so proud of us, and she was like, "Hey, my girls are there! Hey, my
She
girls!"
stood
And it's in the middle of the
show.
laneway,
She
which
stood
took
up
the
and waved.
sophistication away just a little.
As you do in
As you
Portsmouth.
do. As you do.
As you do, you lick
rallies.
road with tongue.
But we were four girls under the age of 20 who wore dresses about that big, so we were accepted very well in England.
Yeah,
Yes.
our miniskirts, I think the shortest I ever wore was 14 inches above the knee. And we kept wondering, why did the band keep saying, take another bow, take another bow? Oh, okay. Now we figured.
Now
took
we
me a
know
while.
why.
Took a while.
You serious? You didn't realise why they wanted you to take another bow?
We
I
thought
think we
everybody wore
did.
dresses like that. They were just, there's an expression for it, but it's television, so
Well,
you
of
can't
course,
say
you
it.
always had legs up to.
We, there's the legs,
Yes.
yes, they're
they've
just a
changed
bit
a
more
bit.
of me now. But we always showed the legs.
So Marcie came back to Australia, and then what happened?
We stayed. We stayed.
We continued on, but we still had bookings as Marcie and the Cookies in different parts of Great Britain. So our manager decided to maybe continue with those bookings. So we joined up with a guy called Peter Williams, who was known to everybody
yes.
from Max Merritt and the Meteors
And the
The
Groove.
Groove.
Yeah, beautiful Pete.
So
Stunning.
we had a fabulous stage act with Peter for a while. So that
We were called the Spirit of
Spirit of
Progress.
Progress. How cool was that?
And
Choo-choo.
no, and that was good. So we finished our gigs. We finished the bookings that we had, and then that didn't last too long because Wendy came back to Australia.
I married my Englishman and came back.
Now, can I just say, Wendy married Dougie Rees,
Yes.
who was Dusty Springfield's musical director. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
No mean feat.
There.
Yeah, until she went to America, and then he lived here.
That's right. So I remember actually when I was doing the Dusty show,
Yeah.
you came along, and Dougie and yourself and all the girls all came along.
That's right, we loved it.
And
He loved it.
and he was talking about the fact that that he'd come to Australia with Dusty.
Yes,
Many
six
times.
times, I think.
Yeah. Many times.
And he'd always loved Australia. Right from 1963 or 4 onwards, he toured with all the English bands. And he said, I've always wanted to live in Australia. So when he met me, Gary introduced us. There you go. I've got you to blame.
44 years, is it?
44 years in April. We've been
Still married. 44 years. That's a long time.
And of course, Dougie was also musical director at Channel 9 for quite a while for the big band.
Yeah.
An amazing musician. So, okay,
Yeah.
getting back
Yeah,
to
England.
To England, okay.
So Wendy came back, Margaret, you eventually came back too, and I stayed on in England for a while longer and worked with Lou Christie, who had songs like Two Faces Have I and Lightning Strikes Again. You know, Lightning Striking Again. Yeah, amazing voice. He had a 4-octave voice, just the most amazing entertainer. But he was on a real downer at the time. A lot had gone wrong for him in America, and all the hits that he had, because he wrote most of them, and he got completely ripped off. All the money was gone. So he had to go back to
That's
England.
unusual.
Yes, how unusual in
Just
show
very-
business.
Yeah, wonder what happened there. So he just basically did a whole lot of work around England to try and build the bank back up again. And he was fantastic. And I mean, I caught up with him in New York, another name drop, a few years ago. And he just didn't realise, I had my daughter with me at the time, who was 19 then, my daughter Chloe. And we walked up the street in New York, and he's hanging out the window, and he's going, "Hi, Bugsy, how are you?" And he's pointing to my door, and he went, "Oh my God, it's like looking at you." And I said, "Because it's been 30 years since we've seen each other. And that's how old I was the last time you saw me. No wonder she looks like
Oh,
it."
how beautiful
He
is
was
that?
amazing. Amazing.
And
talent.
how's he doing?
He's fine. He's fine. He's over. I shouldn't say age, should I? He's over 70 now.
Yeah, but he tours
he's
on
still, he still tours. He,
he
does a lot with Leslie Gore.
who's
Does
a
a
great
lot. Does
singer.
a lot of those tours.
See,
and
that's the great thing
Yeah.
overseas, that you
they respect.
you never
talent.
lose your status.
No.
Yeah, they respect
Once you're a
talent.
star, you're a star.
Yes.
Yes, they respect
And it's
it.
something here that I think we've got to get over and
Yeah.
look after our stars.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's not just even looking after them. It's giving them a voice and a venue to
And the
work.
kudos for what they've
kudos,
done,
yeah.
for what they've
Because
achieved.
the younger people, fair enough, and good on them, that run clubs and things.
I'm sick of young
They've
people.
got to start. No, they've got to start. But they don't know the...
I'm absolutely sick of young
Yes.
people.
Well, somebody said once, want to book Marcie and the Cookies, and somebody said, "Are they still going?" You know,
Yes.
but I mean, instead of saying,
Oh,
"Wow,
that'd
that's
be
fantastic,"
interesting.
I mean, when you've got a guy
You know-
like Tony Bennett, who's what, 85, 86, who is still unbelievable on stage.
And doing duets with Gaga. and
Oh,
Madonna.
and anybody else, he's just brilliant.
We've got
so
to look
respect
after
it.
our
It
stars.
wouldn't happen. Yay!
These girls.
So we were in England.
Yeah, so
we
yeah, I
just
was
very-
very-
We did
Well,
really
we-
well.
yeah.
We recorded, we did lots of backings for groups and sessions and...
And again, we messed up the words on a song. Wendy and I were doing vocal backing for a girl who had this massive hit in Germany. I can't remember what her name was. And we thought the words were pink, dimpled cheeks. But it wasn't. It was Big Jim the Chief. He stood for law and order.
So but we
dear.
sang the pink
Yes.
dimpled
Pink,
cheeks.
We did the pink dimpled cheeks.
They
again,
wouldn't
so.
notice.
No, they
No, I
wouldn't
didn't know that
notice.
song. Yeah,
No.
yeah, missed up on that one. Yeah.
So eventually, you all came back to Australia.
Yeah.
We wandered back, and when we got back, we did some Sunburys, didn't we?
We did all the
We first
Sunburys.
did all the
I did all the
Sunburys.
Sunburys.
Joined with Brycat and the Bootleg
Linda
Family.
George.
Linda
We sang with
George.
Linda.
And
And
George
Linda
with Linda
beautiful
George.
Linda George.
Kush, we did
Kush.
Yeah. When I say we did
Is
Kush,
he dying?
musically. Well, nobody
They
does
did
Jeff
Kush,
Duff. I mean,
except Jeff Duff.
you don't do Jeff
We
Duff.
also did a 6-week series on the ABC vocal backing artist. It was the
Matt
Matt
Flinders?
Flinders show.
Flinders
Yeah,
show.
we've done some really
So a lot of-
varied things.
And
And
we-
also,
But how
we
about
did
Jeff
the ABC.
Duff?
Oh,
God, he's
Jeff
fabulous.
Duff is still doing
I know.
amazing
I
stuff.
know. He's
Does he
fantastic.
still wear those tights and things? Or
Oh,
Used to
it
wear lovely
depends on what
shorts.
show he's doing. Like Jeff Duff actually is one of the most innovative
He is very,
artists still in Australia. He's constantly reinventing.
he was David Bowie
shows.
before David Bowie was
Well,
David
you
Yeah.
know, all of that sort of stuff, and he's just still producing fabulous shows.
He was very brave when you think about it. At
Yeah.
those times. He was
So,
very
you know,
brave.
you worked with him, and of course Linda George, who was
Yes.
fabulous voice.
Yeah, fantastic.
Fabulous voice. So you've come back to Australia. We're going to take a short break and we're going to come back. You're back in Australia and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
The cookies.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Wrokdown, coming to you live from Music Land in Melbourne. The gorgeous Soozie Pinder.
Hey, man.
She's out and about. She's out and she's dangerous.
I'm getting down and dirty, aren't I?
Are you?
Yeah,
Well,
I
I didn't say that. You did.
Oh, well. I've gotta
What have you
spread
been
the
up
rumour.
to, Susie?
Oh, look, recently I was in at the Ding Dong Lounge and I saw My Six, and I want to say what an amazing tour they did, just to put it out there. So get out and see some live gigs. I hadn't been to the Ding Dong Lounge, and what a great venue. And I also...
Where is it?
Oh, Market Street. Is it Market Lane? Market Lane, yeah. I was there with Greg Ratton. He can say what a good gig. But it was absolutely, they packed the house, and they are an outstanding band. Steve Clisby, isn't it? Is that Balby? Balby. He was out front. He's the bass player from Noiseworks. And what a great showman he was. So, you know, get out and see some live music. I also want to say that I had the absolute privilege of hearing the Cookies at Soundcheck at the Go Show Gold with our new Wrokdown member, Larissa Faulkner. We got to sit at Sound, and just the two of us at the Palais. And the Cookies, where are you girls? Because I'm just in love with them. They are phenomenal, beautiful Australian rock women, and I thank you for still being here. It was a privilege. They made us cry. Their harmonies were just like songbirds. So I'm so stoked to have them here in on the show. I can't believe my luck. So yeah, love, a bit of girl love, woman power. But recently, after that, I got to go and interview a bit of
Eric.
a spunk, Eric Wiederman from 1927. So yeah, he still looks fabulous. The band were...
So if he was born in 1927, he's got to be like, he's still a spunk. This is great.
He was an outstanding guy. Just no ego, very natural. He's a naturalist, so he lives in the bush in WA with his wife and cats. He loves cats. I love him even more. Perfect. But really great show. They were at Blackberry Jam, a gig that a local footy club put on, which is going to be on again in the new year. But when he got up on stage and sung, just blew my socks off.
So this is who we're looking at now?
This is the clip that we've got tonight.
Okay,
yeah.
let's have a look.
Mate, good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, real good.
Pretty warm, huh?
40 degrees.
40 degrees.
Are you Melbourne-based or Sydney-based?
No, I grew up in Melbourne. I grew up in Collingwood, actually.
Collingwood?
Yeah.
Best damn footy
Go the
club.
Pies.
Go the Pies. Go the Pies. I knew I loved you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a nomad. So I've been living outside of Perth for the last 9 years.
Yeah.
In the bush there. So, yeah, it's been like this and more for the last month and a half, 2 months.
So it's nothing to you?
No, it's just a bit more damp.
Yeah. Now, I'm going by my memory that you for a dare went on Red Faces.
Red Faces on Hey Hey
Hey
Saturday.
Hey Saturday.
That's right, yeah.
An institution in Melbourne.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's never been the same since it's been
No.
gone.
So
Yeah.
how'd that come about?
Well, I was working in a cover band, and one of the roadies dared me to go on Red Faces, so, excuse me, dry. So I did. I did an acoustic version of Roxanne. Red gonged me. I didn't win.
Red? What do you mean gonging him?
Oh, Red's all right.
He only gongs the really good artists, you know that?
And then I got a phone call from a guy called Phil who knew Gary, who eventually rang me, and yeah, we formed this band called 1927, made a record, and things went stupid.
Not any old record, a phenomenal band. Where did the name come from?
Which one?
1927.
Oh, 1927 came out of a hat.
Out of a hat.
Yeah, well, we had a couple of names like, well, one that I can remember was Out of the Blue.
Yeah.
And we were just a little while away from releasing the record and didn't have an actual name. We were just making a record. And yeah, so we threw all the potential names into a hat. That's the one that popped out.
Did one of the band members used to say, I haven't done that since 1927?
Yeah,
And that's where it come from?
Yeah, that's why he put that name in the hat, yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading that once and I thought, yeah, I'd say that, I haven't done that since Cocky was an egg or something like that. Yeah. So, Ish, The
Ish.
album Ish. Where did that name come from?
Okay, Ish came from the actual recording process when we were doing the recording of the album Ish. You know, we'd be doing like if I was doing a vocal part, say, you know, and ask the guy on the other side of the window, how was that? And you go, Ish. You know, meaning not bad, but not quite there. So that's where part of it came from. And then, you know, when we were talking about songs, some were rockish, some were balladish. So it was just a thing that was thrown around the studio.
So who'd you listen to musically when you were growing up?
Oh, mainly the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Cat Stevens, Jim Croce. Who else did Mum force onto me?
Mum.
The Hollies. Later on, the Police, U2, and yeah, I just listen to anything that I can feel.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of the music these days. It's kind of rubbish, you know. So, well, there's just not a lot of soul in it, you know.
There's a lot of good Australian music that doesn't get the airplay that it should.
Oh, that's always been the case, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably more so now.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about now is though that they can kind of push themselves with YouTube and all that kind of business. Didn't have that before, so.
Do you know, what's some of your fondest memories?
Well, it's all a fond memory, really. I mean, consider that I was just, you know, somebody doing it, just playing, like, you know, most people, they either start in a high school band or manage to get into a band that works in local pubs around the place and, you know, get a small following. You might get 20, 30 people regularly to a gig and you have fun. And that's more that you can wish for. I just enjoy playing music and...
Do you play instruments?
Yeah, I play guitar, I play a little bit of keyboards, I play drums, I play all kinds of percussion. Yeah, so...
That was a stupid question, wasn't it, eh?
No, not really, because, I mean, some people just sing.
Yeah.
You know, but I've always... Yeah, it's a passion for me.
What do you do in your spare time?
Well, I live in the bush, so I like to learn how to live in the bush. Yeah, I'm a bit of a naturalist. I'm not really into possessions or money or whatever. My wife and I just live by ourselves with, you know, 3 cats in the bush and, yeah, just enjoy that.
Hey, good name for an album.
What's that?
3 Cats in the Bush.
3 cats.
Oh, meow. No.
Meow.
So, some of the tours that you've done, any of the international acts that you sort of remember and say, oh, that was a good tour?
I mean, you know, it's all a ball, you know, you get to tour with all these amazing bands and do your own tours and whatever else. How can there be a bad memory in there? They're all good.
No. It's so lovely to talk to you.
Well,
really
thank you.
Lovely. And I can't wait to hear you sing out there because your music is very meaningful to me.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Hope
Thanks
I do
so
a good
much.
show.
You will. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Wrokdown over and out.
Welcome back to Wrokdown. We've just been watching Soozie interviewing Eric Wiederman.
Yeah, he was a bit of all right, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Told you, hard on the eyes.
Yeah, I know.
Rocks that.
Oh, I'm blind. Oh.
Rocks that blue singlet a bit of all right, doesn't he? Yeah. But I wanted to tell you, guess who he auditioned for before 1927? You don't know, do you?
No, I haven't got a clue.
Mick Peeling's band, The Spaniards. So he auditioned to be the drummer and then he auditioned to be the guitar player. And he got neither, which was so good because...
Because he didn't drink enough.
Yeah, he's too pretty. I didn't say that.
Oh, Mick's going to smack me.
I did not say
Billy
that,
Miller's
Mick
going to
Peeling.
whack me over the head. Oh, I'm in all sorts of trouble here.
He's going to do that.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Mick. Love you.
Me too. It's golden tonsils, we're
I
not worthy.
promise to do BBs for nothing forever. Has that got me out of trouble?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyway, it's all good.
Yeah, fabulous gig. So there's some more great interviews from that show that will, you know, be on the rest of our Wrokdown shows.
Oh,
The launch of
we've got a
Nikki
fabulous clip coming up in the next few episodes of gorgeous Nikki Nichols,
Yeah, which she
who
just
had her
launched her
CD launch,
Yeah.
and Bridesmaids. The album's called Bridesmaids, and that was a great launch, wasn't it?
Wen and I were there. We were in the audience. We were rocking on. weren't
No,
we?
I don't get out much.
But you've got to come out with me. Last time we went out, though, we didn't come home. It was like that movie, The Hangover. When and I had our teeth pulled out, we had tats down our face. And remember that?
That's why I don't get out much.
What happens on tour stays on tour, doesn't it?
The gorgeous Soozie Pinder, would you? Great. We're going to take a short break. Be back soon. to Wrokdown, coming to you live from Music Land, and our guests tonight, the fabulous Cookies.
Thank you.
But let's jump back to leaving London, Cliff Richard, all the fabulous people you worked with. You came back. You were involved with Brian Cadd and the Bootleg Band and all of those people.
Did a lot of his records.
Did a lot of
CDs,
the Bootleg Band's records, and so let's pick up there.
Yeah, so when we did come back, the three of us did a lot of sessions. We did a lot of work with free entertainment in the parks for 5 or 6 years at the Myer Music Bowl. Any public holiday, any concerts that were on, we were involved as vocal backing.
And what about the Pope?
And when the Pope arrived in '83,
one of the things that happened, one of the women who sang on at the free entertainment in the parks, there was Suzanne Steele, who was amazing, opera singer, you know, all that. And then when they asked us to do the vocal backing for the Pope, and there was the three of us and two guys, David Belcher and David, the other David. So 5 of us did the vocal backing, and we did the MCG on the Wednesday afternoon. And I'm not the slightest bit religious, but I have to say it was just the most amazing vibe. That it was so positive.
To start from the day to the night, just watch the stands.
And we vocal backed absolutely everybody. And of course, when the Pope came on stage,
which Pope was it?
Pope John Paul, the one who's either going to be or is a saint. Have they done it yet? Yeah, nearly a saint. Amazing guy. So of course we're like this, starstruck, you know. And he's 10 feet from us. He's like there. And we went to get off stage, and the security went, once he's up, you've got to stay on stage. So we just sat there and watched him. And of course, when he's doing this and being all holy, he's having a little sleep.
A what?
Yes.
A what?
A little sleep. He does all that. He's actually having a little sleep all the time, and we were awake up to that, and he looked over and he'd give us a wink like this, and we went, oh, no, where you're at. He's having a little kip. And he was great. It was just to be able to do something like that.
Didn't he bless your divorce, Beverley?
Yeah, well, the funny thing was...
He blessed your divorce.
That was the Wednesday. So the Thursday morning, I was getting a divorce.
Your divorce.
Yes, I got a divorce on the Thursday morning, and the Thursday afternoon, we, as Marcie and the Cookies, did Flemington, you know.
For the Pope again.
For the Pope again, you know, with hundreds of thousands of people and all of the SAS guys who looked after us.
Oh, yeah.
But he's still my
easy
aching
on the
heart.
eye.
Very easy on the eye.
Who?
Oh, will you mind
Who?
escorting me?
SAS.
The SAS guys, because you have all the security when you've got the Pope. You know, the special
But why are they
operations.
gorgeous?
Because they're gorgeous.
Have you ever looked?
In
Wendy,
uniform?
Not
open
really.
your eyes, girl. Stop drinking and just have a look.
Sorry. I'll just stop working with musos. Let's
That's
just work with the
No,
SAS.
sorry, musos, the SAS guys. Anyway, so we
She
did the
does
Pope
have a
in the
gorgeous
afternoon.
man in her life.
The Pope
Why
show
would
in
she
the
be looking at
afternoon.
somebody
So he
else?
blessed my wedding, my divorce, I should say. I had the Pope either side of my divorce, which was a bit naughty. But see, with vocal backing, that's what you get to do. Things like that.
I
Nobody
told
else
you
could
they
do
were
it.
weird.
We toured with Gene Pitney after
We did
that.
Gene
and,
Pitney.
you know,
we
we
would
did
fly
the
out.
Del Shannon
Dobie
thing.
Gray.
Dobie Gray.
Dobie Gray at the Opera House.
I've
We did.
read your resume. The amount of people, the monkeys.
Yeah.
The monkeys.
Oh, they were cool.
Was that fun?
Yes.
Were they fun?
Yes.
Yeah, they were good.
The
Mickey
funny
Dolenz
thing with the
was
Monkeys
lovely.
tour, because we opened the show obviously, but it was really weird because the announcer came out and he said, who are you here for? And because they're all going revved up, monkeys. But hang on, just before they come on, we've got Marcie and the Cookies.
We went all right.
We went great, but that was really the wrong
But the
thing to
hardest
say.
thing was getting back to the hotel because I was only 16 at the time, 16, 17, 18, and we just looked like all the girls are out there going, we want the monkeys. So we could never, we're going, we're staying here.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us in the hotel.
They wouldn't let us in.
You're serious?
No,
They
they
wouldn't let us
stopped
in
us.
because I was 16 and they went, yeah, sure.
Who was
Yeah.
your manager?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where was he? Where was he?
He wasn't there.
Yeah.
Gary Spry.
Yes. Where were you when we needed you?
Yes, where were you?
That's right.
No,
Being
he was
busy,
upstairs having drinks with the monkeys. That's where he was. So, girls, how did you get into the hotel eventually?
We just had to tell them who we were, and we said, look, we are on the show, we're part of the tour, you have to let us in. So eventually they did so. And they were cool guys. They were really, Mickey
They were
Dolenz was
great.
magic.
Dave
And,
Jones.
and funny thing was, a few years late, we're in London, when we lived in London, we were walking along Kings Road, Chelsea, where we used to live, and we're wandering along, we'd just been shopping, and I hear this voice going, I don't want to say goodbye. And it was Davy Jones, and that was a line that I sang when we toured.
He loved you singing.
We
it.
toured.
And he saw you.
And he saw us.
He
and
saw
sang
you
the
and did
line
it.
in London. I went,
Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh, how cool is that?
Oh,
But
gorgeous.
He's gone to God now.
Yeah.
What year would that have been? Like,
I was 17, so no, 69. 1969.
Oh, no, we don't talk about actual years.
Oh, sorry.
No, we don't talk about actual years because
No,
we're
we're
ladies.
We don't talk, yes. I was... Yeah, it's 1969.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So all of these fabulous things. Girls, we're so honoured to have the cookies here. Of course, you spent most of your time being known as Marcie Jones and the Cookies.
Indeed. Proud of
And
it.
of course, Marcie is an icon in the Australian music industry.
Magic
But
girl.
you individually are icons, girls.
Oh, thank you. We've done our thing. Thank you. Very kind of you. Very kind.
You're going to take us out tonight with a song.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to do a song. As you know, we love the Bee Gees, and we've always followed them and love their music. And they wrote a song called Too Much Heaven, and we're going to do that tonight.
Yeah.
Good night. Bye. Would you please thank the cookies, Bev,
Thank you.
Margie,
Thank you, Wendy.
and Wendy.
Thank you.
Good night to everyone from Wrokdown.
Thanks
See you
for
next
having
time. Thank you very much. Good night.
Nobody gets too much heaven no more. It's much harder to come by. I'm waiting in line. Nobody gets too much love anymore. It's as high as a mountain and harder to climb. Ooh, you and me, boy, got a lot of love in store, and it flows through you and it flows through me, and I love you so much more than my life. I could see beyond forever. Everything we are will never die. Love is such a beautiful thing. Oh, you make my world a summer's day. Are you just a dream to fade away? Nobody gets too much heaven no more. It's much harder to come by. I'm waiting in line. Nobody gets too much love anymore. It's as high as a mountain and harder to climb. Ooh, you and me, boy, got a highway to the sky. We can turn away from the night and day and the tears we have to cry. You're my life. I can see